Hey guys, welcome to the final call out, a bodybuilding podcast by bodybuilders because we want to give you guys the full scoop. So today we are going to go over a really exciting show, the Tampa Pro, which is happening this weekend, and it just got real freaking exciting, like super exciting. But before we dive in, I do want to do a little fun, little connect question, so you guys get to know Devon and myself a little bit better. So the question is, what is your number one gym pet peeve? Like what just grinds your gears when you see it in the gym?
Man, I'm glad this is a podcast for men. I really cannot stand when I see a girl sitting in like the corner using one of the mirrors for like 30 minutes, pulling her shorts halfway up her butt to try to get the perfect glute angled shot. Um, just taking up space. And then it takes them forever to get the damn shot right to begin with. So they're there forever. And I'm just like, guys, like, it's not that deep. You don't have to show everybody your butt all the time. We all see it. We know that you're an aspiring wellness competitor or whatever. But like, geez, man, like, put it away. Like, come to the gym, lift, pose in the posing room with your posing coach or whatever the deal is. And if you want to post provocative nonsense, go do it at home. Like, we got stuff to do here. You know, so that's
You're
that's my thing. That
yeah,
irks me.
up the posing area, by the way, and that
Oh, yeah.
bodybuilding. Yeah,
That's
man.
the other thing too. Like, please, God, boy, like I need that space. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Mine is
That's my thing.
on a similar light, but for the male side. It irritates me like to no end when you get a group of, I call them kids, but like probably like college age people that come in
Yeah,
and they're training, right? But they're not working that hard. They're more
yeah,
there for social hour, for grab ass, and they have no spatial awareness of what's going on around them. You'll be like literally doing like in the middle of a set and they'll walk in front of you and they'll just start talking and bump you. And they're like, bullshitting, and you're like in the middle of a set and you're like, guys, what the hell? Or they'll just walk in front of you and just like camp out in front of the dumbbells in front of your
right,
bench. You're like, hey, like I'm working here. Like if you just took a second to look around, you would
right.
notice that this is not your private gym. A lot of people use this. So it's just like, to me, it's whether it's girls or guys, but I tend to see it more with like that college age group.
Yeah,
And it would be one thing if they were training hard, but the people that train hard don't do that. They're like
right.
they're locked in. They're training hard. They might have a conversation here and there in between their sets, but like they are absolutely locked in. Their focus is on their training session and getting the most out of that time. And like people like you and I, like we have very full schedules. So we have
Right.
a
I don't
design
got
block
time.
of time to train. And if we have to like you occupy, and it's always the pec deck. It's always the pec deck for like
Yep.
45 minutes and you've done 3 sets. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, like go to the dumbbell section, go to the bar. Like if this is
Do
not
anything
working for
else.
you. Like, and it's always that like, then I'm getting the single arm squeeze on the pec. And then I'm gonna do like 15, posts on Instagram or TikTok, and then do one more squeeze on the pec. And then we'll get up in between every set and like pull our shirt up and like flex in the mirror with their like 135
That
pound,
part.
like no
Yep.
muscle. I'm like, oh my gosh. And what bothered me more than that is these are the people that have a million followers on TikTok. And they're the ones that are telling you like, oh, Jay Cutler did it wrong. Like they're generally the ones that are like, oh, that's not evidence based. Like you look at this guy's training form and they'll do like reaction videos to that person. And like,
Right.
are you really critiquing Jay Cutler right now? And you've had all
Seriously.
3 months of terrible gym experience, and you literally don't train hard. You have no idea what it takes to do this long term, and you have no results to speak of. So like, get out of the
Just
way
shut up.
and let people that have done it actually give advice, because all these younger kids are listening to you, and it bothered me, especially when I see a steroid expert that is like, I say
Oh,
that's like 22 years old,
yeah.
and it's like, you are not or have not been around long enough to do that, man. Like even if you started when you were 12, like that's not enough time. Like I don't care how smart you are. There's not a lot of like, we know that it can say something on paper. Like
Right.
Trenbolone is supposed to do X.
Right.
But in real life, you'll watch like 20 people take it and it'll have like 20 different like reactions in the body. Some
Correct.
people love it, some people absolutely loathe it and despise it. Me, some people it's like I can take it, but only for a certain amount of time and a very low dose. But like, you can't go out and be like, oh, I read this study. And guess what? They didn't actually read the study. They read the abstract of the study or just the head
Right.
actually read the study. This is how you're supposed to take it. And this is what's going to happen. And then all these younger kids that really have no business like doing the shit at all, they take your advice and they start doing it. You're like, oh my gosh, like the reason
Now you're
that
scared they're gonna
like
leave. They're gonna
back
run
in the
their
day
life.
was like you had to earn your right to even
Yeah.
have a conversation with someone. Like if I was fucking 16 years old or 18 years old and I approached someone at the gym that had been doing it for a long time, like, hey, where do you think I can get some gear, man? They'd be like, shut the hell up. Go train.
Get out of here.
You
Yeah.
need to show me for at least 4 years that you can be consistent with your training, your diet, your lifestyle. And then maybe we'll have the conversation of it if it's the correct time for you. But like if you have not put in any time into the gym, get out of my face. in
Right.
fact,
Seriously.
in fact,
Yeah.
a lot of people these days will actually even they'll have their gear like ready to go before they even set foot in the gym for the first time. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start bodybuilding. I better get my gear. Like you are skipping steps here. You are absolutely skipping steps. Like so. I
Yeah.
know
Cut that
I
out.
went down a rabbit hole there, but that is what really I feel like it's the same person. It's the same person, and you just described the female version of that person. So, all
Yeah.
right. So we're gonna dive into the Tampa Pro, and go over boss, and just pick me up on page. Can you see our screen?
I can see it.
Cool. I can't see us.
I can see you still. So I think it's working.
Is it? I want to make sure we can actually see um, video panel. There we go. All right. I can see you too. Okay. So this is the official lineup. We were wrong when we talked about the up and comers. So Trevor Birch, by the way, is actually at 212. So he didn't go that
Uh,
more sense because I was like, I don't see his name on the list, but he keeps posting that he's doing it. So there's a couple names that stand out to me for different reasons here. The first one that stands out to me is Lionel Bayecki.
yes.
Um, this guy, I haven't seen him. Well, he could be like 2 years ago in I want to say it was like an Italy show, like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And
And
he
it didn't go well.
then like off then a guest posing. And I say this, but I also happen to know that he had some kind of drug test that he had to do. So he did that completely natural. And even with that though, he didn't look back. He wasn't lean at all. It was almost like he did
Right.
it like I don't know, please his sponsors or something like that because he had like some kind of obligation. But he's been like one of the biggest, I would say, had the best potential when he first came up
Yeah.
was completely unfulfilled. So I am curious. It would be awesome if he showed up and just like this. Let's say this is like his last show, and he's like, because he's
Right.
got in his like mid 40s at this point, and he's like, I'm just gonna go out on a high note. I'm gonna just kill myself and get just freaking peeled. And he comes in, probably still won't win, but at the same time, be like, that's a great like homage, like kiss to sign off on. I hope that's what happened. But if I was a betting man, I'd probably say that he comes looking like he's 10 weeks out. What do you think?
Like Plato. I'm thinking about the same thing, man. I really like his physique was so awesome. He had so much potential to do some big things. He got into whatever kind of situation over there where he couldn't really, to your point, he had to like drug test and do a couple other things where it just seemed like life was like bogging him down. So he just kind of got away from bodybuilding. But I mean, if he could come in and even bring us back to like the lineup we saw before, I think if you go to his page and you click on the tags of him, you can go back and find some of his old shots. But like
Um,
he looked amazing. So
Yeah, like
if we
20,
could get even a
2012, he won. He was a good bodybuilder. Like he was being compared to like Flex Wheeler. Like
right,
I personally didn't see it, but like he has that kind of shape, that kind of structure. He poses really well. He just has never really been able to, even back then, never really be able to get to that next level of conditioning that would have like put
right.
him in that elite group. So he stands out probably from an example. Next is we had Jordan Hutchinson jump in last minute, as well as John Jewett, two people that jumped in kind of last minute. And talking to John, he actually didn't wasn't actually planning on doing it. He just got ready early, and he was like, "Hey, I'll give Tampa a shot. He's still
He
going to
tends to do that.
He's like, that way I don't have to go to Italy and or to Europe to do the other shows. So and also he just announced that next year will be his last year competing. So he's going to retire after next year. So he's going to kind of try to go out on a bang. So obviously trying to shoot for that Olympia qualification. But we'll go over them because they definitely I think are in our running for what we
Mhm.
think probably top five, top six is going to be. Um, but then is there anybody on this list that like I guess you have any comments on as far as like maybe they you're not sure about like for instance like Patrick Moore. Um, like he did
So
okay at the Legion. He took second, but we haven't really seen much from him. I know he posted he gave Nick Strength and Power like some
yeah,
and those looked very underwhelming to me. What do you think about him?
that was my exact thoughts. I think he's going to run into another conditioning issue, similar to maybe Quinton here, as well, where it's just like from what we've seen, coming into peak week, they say they have these strategies or whatever, which I just can't account for because, to your point, Patrick came in really soft and he came in harder and better, but it still wasn't like a great showing. Um, and he just looks way off to be in peak week already. I I just don't know that he's going to bring the right level of conditioning for this show, where again, a lot of people in this top 5 or 6 are going to be peeled out of their mind. They're going to be inside out. So, not in the general sense that he's going to look bad. Of course, these are all, a lot really
Yeah,
good, great
that's horrible.
bodybuilders, but the conditioning level for this show is going to expose a lot of people.
What do you think the issue is with Patrick? Because it seems like that one show he did, the Olympia, where he took 10th, and mind you, it was a very weaker lineup for the Olympia. He was like one of the most, if not the most conditioned person in that show. He has been yet to reach that level of conditioning since, and it seems like he comes in way off more than he comes in even close to on. What do you think? What do you think the issue there is?
My personal opinion is that his legs are never big enough, and they being fuller gives him more legs. So, I mean, that's been the whole issue for me his whole time. Um, his legs don't have great quad sweep. He's kind of built the adductors up some, but whenever he gets peeled all the way down, it's a glaring difference between like his chest and arms are so dominant on his frame, and his legs will lose so much of that fullness and roundness that it really ends up hurting him in most of his shots. Um,
So you think he chases like making sure his legs stay full, and by doing so,
yeah.
he's not able to get the requisite like conditioning?
Well, right. And I don't look, I have no idea, but that's just what I've observed because when I do see him get leaner, it's the first thing I notice is like that quad soup looking kind of thin. Like, okay, and so that's the major thing. He's probably trying to bring the best physique that he can. Um, but again, for some people, getting inside out peeled means they're losing fullness and size, which means fundamentally they have to get bigger, which I don't know how much more of that he's going to be able to do. I mean, Patrick's kind of had the same issues for a while now, which is he needed more back density and he needed more quads. Um, and I haven't really seen much of either one of those things improve over the past few years.
Yeah,
So,
and I don't want to like obviously don't want to trash on him. I don't know the guy personally, but he also seems to be and this is a trend that I can't stand, is every time you do poor, you instantly blame
mhm,
the coach and then you fire them. And it seems like he jumps from coach to coach to coach, and every time it doesn't go their way or his way, coach is fired, coach is thrown under the bus, and like maybe it's not the coach. Maybe it's you.
right,
Like, because if we have all these coaches that are, have a track record of bringing people in shape, and you're the one outlier, but you're an outlier every single time, maybe your body's tricky to figure out. But you also might just not be a good client. You might also just not be coachable. You might not be following what they have you doing. And I'm not saying he is. I would just assume though. It's the character side of that where it's like, why? Like, if at the end of the day, even if the coach leads you in the wrong direction, we talked about this on our last podcast. At the end of the
mhm,
day, it's your responsibility though, because you're the one that
right,
trusted the coach, right? So when I'm working with somebody, um, I will follow everything that they say to a T, and then that way, when it doesn't work or if it doesn't work, you're like, hey, okay, I learned something, and then we can adjust, And if it is a
right.
poor and the coach isn't willing to adjust the plan, okay, it's time to look for a new coach. But like, I'm the one that gave up the reins. So ultimately, it might not be my fault, but it's my responsibility. So
Correct.
where I don't like that at all in the culture of competitive bodybuilding is when it's like a bunch of coach blaming. Like, bro, you're the one that hired them. Like, you know,
Right.
if it wasn't going well, you could have jumped ship, man. Like, you could have like been like, this isn't working. We need to change something.
But
Or
just tie into what I was just saying, which is like, okay, when your coach said I need you to be more conditioned, you start coming down and then you start seeing lagging muscle groups. And so you don't listen to your coach or you don't want to listen to your coach. And again, I'm not saying that that's what happened. Like to your point, I'm not trying to bag on anybody, but I think again, even with Quinton, it was like, I don't know that maybe they did over diet him, last year, but like at the same time, you know, what we're concerned about right now, what a lot of people have been questioning who's watching him, is if he's going to be conditioned enough for the show. Maybe there is a component of needing more tissue where, you get lean enough to where you are competitive in the conditioning department, but you are lacking some of your fullness and your pop, which again, for people, the completely different physiques, but again, the shape. Patrick Moore has like the small waist, the big arms and chest, so he creates that at least the top of that V taper. Quinton is a larger physique, also phenomenal shape, bubbly round muscles in the shoulders, chest, arms. A lot of these guys, I'm realizing when they come in shape, they just lose some of that pop, and that's either A, you need more tissue,
yeah,
well, I think that's just what it is. You need more tissue so that you can come down. But I think
yeah,
when they come down, they don't like the look, and it's a worse look for them right now,
right now, yeah,
versus
and
if
they're
they
trying
put
to
more
play the
tissue
game.
on.
What's my best look today?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, that gets tricky because you're trying to balance that fullness with as much conditioning as you can get with that without losing those body parts. But it's the solution is long term. It's like you got to just grow more tissue.
Right.
But yeah, I run into the same problem. Like honestly, like I think most people that are not big enough run into this problem. Like we all have body parts that like just disappear. So like for me, it's my chest tends to go bye bye. So I got to make sure that my chest is ridiculously oversized by the time I start prep. So that way,
Right.
even in a flatter state, it's still okay. You know, it comes down to just okay, not like pathetic. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, there's a couple more people that we can go over. I know we talked a little about Justin Savoie. I think
Hmm.
he's gonna be like I don't want to say a standout, but I think he's gonna turn some heads, mostly from a conditioning standpoint
Right.
and sheer size. This young long peen.
I like his physique a lot. I just think he's too
Yeah,
small.
I think he's too small. He's this is his first open, I believe. He's a 212 that's coming
Right.
up. So even though he's like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen him next to people that are, you know, 5'10,
Yeah.
5'11, 265. Like, so he might
Correct.
get exposed. And I do think honestly, he's got a halfway decent back, which is I wasn't expecting because 90% of the shots that he puts up are from the front.
And
And
he
then
has phenomenal
like,
quads.
oh, okay, there's a reason. Yeah, so we'll go over kind of the heavy hitters, and then what we'll do is we'll just like take a stab at who we think is going to place where. So the first person I'm bringing up is Mr. Jordan. This is actually my front runner, like clearly. This was I will put this up here because this is never mind. That's not the right one. So this is his like last fasted shots before he left. And so yeah, look, I'm even on my comments even here.
There you go.
So this is going to be his weakest post, his back double. But even with
Hmm.
that, man, like this goes right to what you were saying, like even about Quinton. It might have been before we started recording. When you are dialed, even if you have a weaker pose, it looks so much better because look like the low back is completely in, glutes are just crazy dug out. I see nothing like this. This word would work in his favor versus if he tried to keep his fullness in his back. What do
Correct.
you
Yep. I think that you're on point exactly with that. I think for him specifically, just coming in as peeled as possible is making his back better, which is to
think?
your point, his weakest shot is his back double. But it's not like a weak shot.
No,
You
it's
know what I
not a big
mean?
shot. We're talking about just his
Just
lats
on
just
him
need a little
though.
bit more width, and then it's a
Right.
great shot. But the rest of it's
So,
dug out.
but that's where I'm loving everything about his physique right now. Is he has crazy conditioning. He's still bringing a lot of bubbly muscle. I do think in this shot it looks really good. His arms could be a little bigger in those front and back double shots.
Yeah,
Um, But like that right there, that looks insane. Like that's phenomenal ab and thigh. if he keeps that core under control, because I've seen a couple shots where the bulge is just a hair. Um,
Like in his
but
post
I,
workout shots.
well, and he's probably been eating and stuff like that, but he'll be hopefully full for the show too. So let's just make sure that's intact. But even with that, um, like here his arms are kind of exposed a bit on how because everything else looks so good. It's not because his
But
arms are just trash. His shoulders and chest are just full and big as shit here. Um, but what I do see now that he's died it down, which hopefully we'll see some shift in once he feels out some, is those legs have thinned out just a hair. But of course they're pulling down, getting ready for show. So
but
um,
I still don't see a disparity there. Like I wouldn't call those like a weakness. His quads are still very good.
well, not necessarily a weakness, but what I want to bring up in a bit is going to be because we talked about some of our front runners being like between him and John. I think
Yeah.
while they have a lot of different physiques, right? I think they're going to trade on a couple of these shots because I think John a little more complete in some shots.
Yeah, that's one
Um,
thing that John brings is a hell of a lot of completeness. There's no gaps in his physique at all.
you
He might
know,
not have the flow that Jordan has, but you can't find a hole. And his thighs definitely have a lot of width to them. And so like what you're referring to is kind of just like a little bit more of this quad sweep coming out to give him more of that
well,
mass.
yes, and then if he had more adductors, which you see that gap from behind too when he hits his back shots, where John's going to be thighs touching all the way through.
Oh, his thighs
Um,
literally cross each other because his adductors are so big. It's kind
and I
of
think
it's
that
kind
this
of ridiculous.
adductor dilemma is an issue for a lot of these bodybuilders right now. I don't think people are training their adductors. We're going to talk about Beef Stew here in a bit, I'm sure. He has that same dilemma where he just hasn't really built up those adductors. But he's going to come in peeled too, guys. I mean, there's going to be a lot of conditioning in this show.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that for the most part, the way to really grow good adductors, you see a lot of people like even Jordan, he starts every leg day with the adductor machine. He's
Hmm.
very aware of this like gap, I guess. But
Right.
I've never found that to be like a super successful way to grow adductors. It's a great way to like activate them, and it actually really helps
Right.
my pressing, my squatting. But it's mostly how the depth of your leg presses and your depth of your squats. So like if you're
Yes.
getting like your ass all the way down, knees flared out, dropping all the way in, those adductors hit so much harder. And then things like honestly like lunges or even Bulgarian
I was going
split,
to say split squats.
they
That's how I build
destroy your
mine.
adductors. And I think that's a way more I would say more bang for your buck on growing them because you can load them so much more effectively and you're
Hmm.
getting crossover to your glute, to your quad. So like
Yeah.
there's if I had to pick one movement for adduct for legs in general, it would be the split squat. Everybody
Yep.
hates it because it does hurts,
It
but
sucks.
because it recruits freaking everything. So there's Jordan. Next we got John. So he did give us a I wonder if these are actual, not actual photos. He gave us a posing video. So this is exactly what Devon was talking about here. Just like that guy must like use baby powder all the time because like
Got to.
they're so tight.
Look at the glutes and the hamstrings from the side there, the arms, the chest, from
Yeah.
behind here, all the tissue, just all the tissue. Like,
Again, this is his weak pose here, is his back double.
but the way he pulls his core in for that most muscular right there,
I love his
right?
front
Like,
lat.
he's brought it up a long way, man. But that side chest is insane.
It's
Dear
so
God.
thick. It's so thick. Yeah.
And his back lat has improved a ton. Now, again, like you said, the back double's not his best friend, but it's also not uh Jordan's either. And that's what I mean by in some shots, they're going to trade a couple things, which makes them they're going to both be in the top 3 or 4 most conditioned guys here. Maybe 5 most conditioned guys. And again, there's a lot of really peeled dudes here. But, this one shot being quote unquote their weak shot, they're going to expose a lot of people and just being so inside out.
Yeah. And also
That's crazy.
heavily muscled. I don't think I don't think you would ever use the word like deflated or like they look very
Right.
compact, very John specifically. I don't know where you would add any more tissue because he's so complete. He just needs a little bit more detail in that back double, and I mean maybe a little bit more width, but like it's mostly like just that the lower lat area and kind of that middle back, like giving
Mhm.
some extra detail there. So that's John. Next, I might be a little biased, but I'm just such a huge fan of Justin's physique. Um, he's inside out. Homie is peeled. He's working with Justin Jacoby now, or I think it's Jacob Jacoby. Like he's working with the same guy who coaches Tony O'Burton.
Oh
And
yeah, okay.
yeah, so like he's gonna get a lot on his shape alone. I think where he falls, maybe where people will expose him is from just a sheer size standpoint, but
Hmm.
also from the backside. He has a little bit higher inserting lats, which just so people know, this is not a good photo to show that. But if we look at the front double, this is the kind of like I call this like the Dennis Wolf syndrome, where it's like the high lats make that waist look so much more ridiculous in the front shots, and like the lat spread, the back double, or sorry, the front double. But from the back, and I don't know if he posted it. I thought he
The only
posted.
one he has, it's an older one of his back they have, so he's not
Yeah,
quite in the same shape. So it definitely doesn't do him any justice.
but like this, yeah,
Uh,
he is. He's gonna be again one of the top like three most conditioned people.
I think it may be that one.
Was it this one?
Yeah, I think that may be the one
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
shows his back
So see how
exactly.
this that makes obviously this was like 6.5 weeks out, so it was a while ago. But that it does pop. He's brought it up. He has, but it still is like definitely his weakness. So we've talked about three people so far that have the same weakness.
Right.
But the
Well, the
higher
thing that's going to
lats,
hurt him the most is
perfect.
those hamstrings aren't there. Those hamstrings are
Yeah,
hurting him.
yeah,
So, because his calves are so gnarly, he's probably recruiting a lot of calf doing all of his hamstring work. Um, but like his hamstrings need to be a little bit bigger and the back needs to be a little thicker, which, like you said, we came across the three guys we've talked about today so far are all having a bit of that same back issue, that back double specifically. But I think to your point, the size, overall size, is going to be a bit of an issue. But I do appreciate that he had those adductors
he,
touching.
he definitely does. Definitely does. So there's Justin, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm placing him. When we talk about Patrick Moore, so he clearly hasn't given us any like real recent updates, and he's very good at posting shots that make him look very very good. I would argue better than he really does on stage. Um,
Right.
so from my vantage point, great structure, tiny waist, probably a little long in the legs. Like his legs are a little bit longer compared to his torso.
Yep.
Um, and where he falls down, honestly, is again, it's going to be his leg size mostly. Just I mean his quads mostly, but
Yeah.
it's really conditioning. That's the thing that really has hurt him the most. Is if he brought that conditioning that he had at the Olympia. What was that? The year that I want to say Brandon Curry won. It was like 2019, 2000. Yeah, maybe it was
Man, maybe so.
because it was before Rami. If he could just bring
Yeah.
that level of conditioning, even if he didn't get any size, he would always do much better than if he, is inconsistent with that conditioning. That's just it's the same rule at every level, only you get more exposed at the pros because these people are coming in another 20, 30% sharper than you do at the amateur level. So,
Right.
if you're
Insane.
in that legion, like that's not even a top 10 look on this stage, unfortunately. And
Right.
honestly, I didn't honestly have him second in Legion. I thought he was third or maybe fourth. I think even what's the name Ken, Colossus Ken. I
Yeah.
can't pronounce his last name. I would have had him over Patrick in that show.
I think that was tough just because the thing about Ken is he does have a lot of tissue, but what happens for him is he doesn't express a lot of width in the front or the back shots. He can't flex one of his quads, which is just a glaring dilemma. And he also was off on conditioning too.
He
So,
was.
yeah, so it's just, at that point is preference. I think that Patrick has a slightly prettier physique than Colossus Ken has for that show being they're both out of shape, you
Yeah,
know.
and Ken is very new to competing, so I think a lot of
Well,
those
right.
issues they're
I'll try
talking
not to
about.
go there, but yeah.
Yeah, but like, and it's not an excuse because the judges don't ask you like, oh, we're gonna grade you on a curve based off of how long you've been out there. But there's definitely like just the 1,000 hours of like posing and
Yeah.
like becoming a master of that craft and getting knowing exactly how to hit those muscles and how to fire those muscles, and it takes a long time. Like it probably took me 6 years before I was able to actually flex my quads effectively on stage. to get them to
Correct.
actually separate out. And it wasn't that I wasn't lean enough. It's a technique. It's a way to do it. Then you
Hmm.
have to practice that shit like so much to internalize it, so you don't even think about it on stage. It just happens. So there's Patrick. We don't need to spend too much time on him. Joe Palacio, we talked about him a little bit. I'm very impressed with this guy.
Me
I
too.
know he has some I would say structural issues. A little bit wider of a waist. His legs are I would say his legs are probably his from the front specifically. They're not quite up to par because he has such a big upper back or upper body that his legs are a little bit slight compared to that. Where do you think he's gonna end up?
I think, in my opinion, he's going to be in that second half of the top 10 or 11.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with you.
I still think that like these shots are crazy, especially those side shots look good. Look at the waist from the side, hamstring drop. To your point, the thing that's going to hurt him is that there's other people with similar structural issues that have better lower bodies from the front.
That back
Um,
double, bro. He's got the best one we talked about so far.
so far, yeah, he got a ton of back density back there. Um, and so, but again, he's going to be not, in my opinion, not quite as peeled as some of the other guys. Still very, very lean. But from the front, those quads are going to hurt him. And there's what? That's a front double, a front lat, and an ab and thigh, and a most muscular. I think he's going to hit the most muscular here in a bit. Like he should not do that transition.
No, that
Um,
he's not have the structure for that at all.
um, but he's going to do a most muscular, I think, here in a second. And it just hurts his physique. Yeah, that ab and thigh. So it'll be
I would
tough to see.
personally, I would adjust the posing on that ab and thigh just a little bit. I would almost
Yep,
do like a little bit of a hip twist and
yep,
extend one leg forward, just because he doesn't have it. Well, he's got such a wide back. I wouldn't go
right.
square on that one for him. But yeah,
So, but for
I
him, it's just the imbalance from top to bottom. I think he's going to be in that second half of the top 10.
yeah, I think I have him like between like 6 and 8. I think he's probably in that second call out. Yeah, solid second call out though, and I think this is night and day better than his last show, which was Cali
Oh,
last
for sure.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then this is Justin Savoie. Um, I don't know when this was taken, but this looks like it's still back in. Yes, that's still back in Toronto. This was in his hotel, but I'm gonna try to find because the lighting in that one is garbage. Um, so this was probably a little bit ago. Back in he trades it up at what's that place called? The Pure Muscle and Fitness up in Toronto.
Hmm.
So he will be one of the top three most conditioned people in the show.
Yep.
I don't think they're. I think this is truly stage condition. And when we talk about Quinton, this is going to be the difference here. Is like that it's not just that he's lean. He's that other level where it's like you can see the texture of the skin. It's like gone.
Yeah.
He's got that grainy sandpaper look going on to the skin. That's when there's literally
Like no
no
fat in
fat
it.
at all. There's no water, no fat, nothing in the way. It just looks straight up nasty. Like even on his glutes, like you can see that same level of like hardness in his glutes.
He's
I
gonna be
think
harder than this.
his structure lets him down a little bit, or he has more room to fill out. Is realistically, he has a little wider waist. He's a little bit. I would say I would like to see more shoulders on the guy. And then if we can get I don't know if he puts one up. Yeah. So this is kind of again where he falls down a little bit. Is the back. It looks to me like he probably uses his biceps a lot and tries like
For
to
his pulling.
fully pulling because he has very good arms. But this is actually a very very weak part of his body is the lat, just the whole back, not just the lats, the whole thing.
And I kind of just want to see him and Quentin stand next to each other as larger stature guys. Because I think that will really give us a good idea of where Quentin's going to stand conditioning against somebody who's got a similar general structure. Like I get that Quentin has better shape than him. But I mean, just being big, tall guys and kind of seeing where they really stand next to each other because this guy's inside out.
Yeah,
And he's a large guy. Like they're just big dudes.
yeah, he's big
Um,
dude. He has long limbs too, just like
Yeah, they
Quinn.
say he's 295, 9 days out. Like that's insane.
I want to actually pose in this corner because this seems like this is like that magic lighting corner.
Yeah,
Everybody
man.
get picture of
That
myself
natural light from
posed
that
here.
window has got everybody
Yeah,
looking crazy.
I mean, obviously he would probably look good in any lighting, but like Yeah, this is like another level here, man. Like the it's beyond lean. Like, so this is what stage conditioning looks like. And we have several, like we're talking about, this is like the fourth person that is like granite hard and purely like truly fat free. And somebody that comes in, even 90% of that is going to be highly exposed
Hmm.
because the standard is so high here. Versus another show, we look at like, okay, the Legion, for instance.
Right.
I mean, Tonio was in great condition, but he wasn't in Justin Savoy's condition.
Correct.
And so, like someone like Patrick or, Colossus Ken, or even if Quinton did that show, they would do a lot better in those lineups because they're not next to people that are like nails,
Right.
right? Yeah. So this is Justin. Um, I just want to do a quick little thing on him. This guy is probably going to be the biggest person in the show. I don't see him in the top call out at all, but this is Morgan McDonald. He's going to be competing well over 300 pounds. Again, another tall guy, probably like 6'2", 6'3". Ton of muscle on this guy. Not the prettiest physique by any means. So this is him down in Tampa. So this is kind of like an example. Obviously, a big guy. Um, he will be lean. Maybe not Justin Savoy lean, but he will
Those
be.
limbs got to come up, is all, but he's going to be big and lean.
Yeah,
Um, but arms and legs from the front got to come up quite a bit.
yeah,
Probably from all around needs to come up quite a bit. So, you know,
yeah. I think
being a
he
big, tall guy and filling out those limbs can get hard sometimes.
it can take time. And I actually like another thing. Maybe I'm just partial, but I like the big like cannonball delts. I think they
Yeah.
really set off a physique, especially if you're like if you see here like I think maybe his triceps might be a little lagging, but if he had just a little bit more cap on his delt, it would make his entire physique flow better. And especially for
Right.
somebody that has a larger waist, um,
Yeah.
it
They
really
got to
helps.
hide
Like
that.
you got to, yeah. That's one thing like Jay Cutler. Some of the most
Yep.
ridiculous delts in the world. And he was known for not having the best waist. And I don't think he
But
got
from
credit
shoulder
for
to shoulder, he was wide as
it.
a house. So,
He still showed off that crazy X frame. Yeah. So oh, there's a back double. It's not half bad. His back isn't half bad actually.
I guess, I don't think it's his back. I think it's the limbs that are going to hurt
Limbs.
him.
Yeah, quads or sorry, legs and arms. Yeah. And delts.
Yeah.
All
So,
right. Next person on the list, Anthony Gel. He's competed a couple times this year. This is probably our most recent. This is 2 weeks out. He's a
yep.
lot bigger than he looks on photos. So he's 270, and he's what, like 5'10", 5'11". Not
Something
a
like that.
not a tall guy, but not a small guy by any means. So I think again he's probably going to fall in that same place as Morgan McDonald, probably that bottom half, closer to probably 9 and 10, I would assume. But still downright impressive if you ask me. Very probably will be in decent shape. Um, I just wonder why some people. This is just a question I have because I think James Hollingshead suffers from the same thing. Like he's very lean,
Hmm.
but there's like almost nothing going on in the abs. It's
You
like
know,
have deep, like separated abs.
I have one theory, but I know there's something else going on too that I can't explain. But a lot of people don't train abs like they want to grow their muscle there. And I get it. You don't want obliques that are overly bulging, let's say, to ruin your waist. But like my abs get real deep, but it's because when I was young and dumb, I was doing weighted ab training and they grew like other muscles grow. I think a lot of people are in the camp of I don't need to train abs because, I get core stability from other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but we're bodybuilders. Like we're not trying to see how much your core can bear for a squat. We want to see ripply, bubbly
Right.
six pack, right? So I think a lot of people just don't train it. But you can also see here, I don't know what's going on if he had a hernia at some point, but
Yeah.
his
In this
belly
area.
button is really high
Yeah.
on his abdomen. So something else is going on with him for sure.
If I could zoom in, I bet you that's a scar right there. I bet you he had a hernia in the bed, which also challenges that too, because when you have a hernia and you have it surgically repaired, you can't train abs the same way anymore. You have to you have to approach it a little bit differently because you have that mesh net.
Right. You can't
But yeah,
stretch the same way.
I agree with you, man. I think it's just literally a lack of training. And I
Yep.
listened to something. It was a Dr. Mike and talking about like how all the ab training in the world is not going to make that big of a difference. Like it doesn't really, and I firmly disagree
Me
because when
too.
I first started competing, I had really thin, shallow abs. And I had to get like really, really lean for them to show it all, but only when I was in a hands overhead and thigh. Like when I breathe all my air out, crunch, they would show a little. Now, I mean, I personally train abs every single day that isn't a leg day. So like I'm training it 4 times a week, sometimes five. I'll do it again on my off days, and it's
Right.
nothing complex, man. But I train it like any other body part. I
It's
will
another muscle group.
I'll alternate between hanging leg raises for the lower abs, and also that helps with the hip flexors and being able to
Yep.
like hit the front relax
Keep
and
that
hit the
separation all the way up. Yep.
yeah. And then I'll do like a weighted crunch, generally either on a cable stack or we have the Panada machine. And then at the ab wheel, like the
Yep.
rollouts. Nothing
Hmm.
crazy. And I just do it like clockwork. Like I tell myself, you can't go home from the gym until you've done at least 3 hard sets of abs. And generally when you start that, I end up doing like 6. But
Of course.
it's my rule before I go home is like you can't go home until you've done that. Because let's be honest, most bodybuilders it's an afterthought. Like it's the first thing that gets cut. That and calves are the first thing that get cut when you're like running late. Like now, I'm
Yep.
long late. That was a long workout. I'm just gonna head home. I'll do abs tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you do the same thing and you end up just not training them. You would never do that
Yep.
with biceps. You would never do that with chest. You know, we'd be like, I'll train chest tomorrow. So I think it really is just a function of they have not hypertrophy at all. And even if you grow like half an inch, that's a massive difference on your abs. And I don't think
Yeah.
that it contributes to the thicker obliques. I think the loading
Well, if
movements
you don't
contribute
train
like
your
this.
obliques, you're not going to bulge them out. Like
No.
you can choose how to train your abs. It's not
Yeah,
like, so when you all the things you mentioned keep you very centralized and linear down the center mass of the body. So you're going to train those abdominals, right? Your obliques going to get some work in, but unless you're sitting over here doing specifically oblique crunches and all those other things weighted, they're not going to grow a ton. But you need to hit your obliques a little bit too, maybe. But I would probably avoid doing them weighted. But at the end of the day, if you train your abs just straight on, your obliques are going to get there. They're going to tighten up more. They're going to have some more detail. The six pack's going to come in, and when you're lean, you're going to have full bubbly abs. And to what you mentioned, which is for me, even when I'm kind of like fatter and off season, I still have a remnants of my abs because I've just trained the shit out of them.
right.
So like, so people need to start training abs and
I
stop
agree.
avoiding it.
I agree. All right, so we got a couple of more people to just touch through, and then we're going to give our predictions. So this guy, I just wanted to just show him because I do find his physique just nutty.
I
Like I
really
want to
like.
give this to other people because I know he's a shorter guy, comes from 212, Ping Young Long. But just oh my gosh, like I'm in love with this
The
physique.
shape,
Phenomenal,
structure of this.
bubbly, like it's so good. I've never watched this guy compete before. But he's got just a great physique.
I think the thing is, he's not really missing anything. I think it's going to be overall size that may be the dilemma.
Mhm.
But even right there, his hamstring is a little shallow, but it's also because his glute attachment comes so far down. So he has a hamstring.
Look at that.
Like,
Most muscular. Like that's so much.
look at those delts. The chest is still full. Waist is tiny. Legs are separated. Huge teardrops and sweeps. Like quads look great. I
Even that.
love that front lat spread
Yeah,
too. Like,
it's a great shot. So I know he placed like 11th and then 212 Olympia. So we have to keep that in mind too. So if he placed 11th in the 12 sorry 11th in the 212, why was that? and
right?
and what like because some of these people like I've seen and it seems to be a lot like over in China where you'll see like these pictures and these like oh my gosh it's crazy proportions and then when they show up on stage you're like that's not what I see and I wonder if he's one of those examples but well we'll see but based on photos I freaking love this guy's physique so that's Pignon and then Bruno Santos I feel like he gets a lot of love and rightfully
I
so.
don't
He
love
comes in
him.
shape, but I don't see him in the top 5. I don't see him in the top.
Not at all. I feel so when we watched what was it, the Big Man Evolution, when we did that one,
Yeah, where he beat
his
Nathan.
legs, which he never wants to show, from the back especially, His
Yeah.
back's so good right there. Like we see him, we know his back's going to be good, but his
Mhm.
legs are just not balanced. It throws off the flow of his physique. From top to bottom, I just don't think he's very balanced in general. Even
And from
there,
this,
like he's hiding it with angles.
yeah, yeah,
When we get a square shot, that ain't gonna look good.
yeah. You don't get the judges are in front of you, like so. Yeah, here's a better example. And mind you, this is on stage, and this was in I believe this was the big man. Yeah, the
Yeah,
big evolution. Yeah, he looks a lot better in these videos, by the way, than the ones we went over because these are HD. But yeah, there's just I think it's just another
that
just like quads.
yeah, that
Yeah,
lower half and those arms are hurting him. You know, like his chest and delts and back are really good, but here from the side, no quad sweep and that very little hamstring drop. He's also
Mhm.
sitting way too low, in my opinion.
He's trying
But
to
he's trying to
compensate. I
get some
think for that.
hamstring. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
then he's
then this
a
makes it
little thin
worse
to the
because
hamstrings.
now his back is going to look so good, his legs is going to look terrible here.
Yeah, yeah. I
See?
think that doesn't help him at all.
So I think that's going to hurt him a lot. And I'm be honest with you, a lot of people like him. I'm thinking he's potentially out of the top 10, depending.
You
Um,
think so?
and I think there's a lot of things to consider because when we look at what a lot of people are lacking right now, what I'm seeing is that the silhouette of the shots are better than he is because he has such a glaring shortcoming on every shot because his legs are bad from every angle, or
Right.
not bad, but not as good as his upper body
Probably.
from every angle. Now,
Yeah.
again, that's how I would judge it. I'm not a judge. I don't know what they're going to say, but I'm looking at it like, well, in your front shots, your side shots, and back shots, your legs look undersized compared to everybody.
Yeah,
And
he looks like
so,
they're very straight up and down. But again, he probably will come in peeled. I see him in that fighting for that like 6 to 10 range is what I see. Based on just conditioning and the fact that he is fairly complete in the upper body.
yeah,
It's kind of like Andrea Presti, only a little better. Like, he has that really impressive like width, but Bruno's harder and more detailed, and he's also pretty big up top. But that same like it's like their legs are like straight up and down. There's not like anything, no taper, no, and honestly, it's just size like quads and adductors like getting those to come up to par. The good news is like he still has time. He's not incredibly old, so hopefully he can bring that up over time. But
he may
yeah,
be in the back end of the top 10. We don't have quite that many people that are really, really good at this show. But I
no,
think for me, he's going to be, you know, 9, 10 in my mind. But like I said, for me, I'm just a stickler on that flow from top to bottom. If y'all watched when y'all watched us go over the big man show, I didn't like it there either. So at least I'm being consistent.
obviously we both had him, Nathan beating him because
Right.
Nathan does have the bottom half. And then I think we'd be remiss not to talk about B Stu.
Used to.
So I think he's in the camp ahead of Bruno in my opinion, but probably in
Yes,
the middle
I
of the
agree.
pack, I would say possibly the bottom of the first call out, only based off of like just density and conditioning.
Hmm.
But his main knock was is his adductors being a little slight, and then this is not his knock. His back lat spread's great, and he's freaking hard as hell. But he obviously he won't post it, but it's his back double.
Right. But we
Which
have a lot of guys peel with not so great back doubles at
yeah,
this show. So it's going to be
yes,
kind of an equalizing component.
yeah, but he doesn't play the game of trying to come in full. He knows he's got to come in hard as nails, and so I think he will. In my opinion, if Quinton is not as lean as if he's as lean as we think he's going to be, I see Stu actually over him just for that simple reason of Stu's got the same weakness, but he's going to be
Listen,
hard as nails.
I don't, I, I'll speak from two perspectives when it comes to where Quentin's going to place. If I were a judge, given the conditioning, Quentin's going to be like around sixth, maybe. Maybe. But his shape and size are just really overwhelming.
Yeah,
So he'll end up probably in the end of that first call out if he doesn't quite get bumped. Just because out of everybody we mentioned right now, we've just named off like six peeled guys that like are good, you know. Um, and so if Quentin comes off a little bit of that conditioning, I mean, and he has, mind you, he has the same weaknesses that these guys have, which is that back double is not his best friend. Norris's back lat spread great. I think the size and structure can only take you so far when everybody is so lean. He'll end up in like seventh place. Again, we'll go over it and I'll give like more precise thoughts on that, but I think he could slip if he's not careful.
So that's why I saved him for last. So, and this is not the best shot of his back because it's kind of dark there. And given I would say his back double's better than Stu's from a muscularity and a shape standpoint, but he's not nearly as hard. But I'm actually, in 2-3 weeks, I think this is a great shot. But he might just be a little on the, he's got some glute lines going on, some lines in the hammies. So it's one of those where like, maybe he's gonna be okay, maybe he's not. I would say, he's close, but we'll
If you
see.
go to the back double, the one thing that we're seeing that I know I struggle with is those skin folds under the lower lats are just what they are. That's water and fat.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And all these other guys we're talking about just they don't have it. It's not there. Um,
Shrink wrap.
they're dug out all the way through. And while his shape, compared him to beef stew, his shape is a little bit better, but I don't like how he's necessarily hitting it either. I think he's a little too arched. Um,
Double, like he's
but
arcing back a little bit too much.
yeah, he's arching his back a little too much. That's why we're seeing the shadow happen in the middle of his back. And but I think also if he doesn't do that, he loses a lot of detail in those lower lats because I don't think he's quite lean enough.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm
So,
not.
so we'll just have to see because
He's
again, this is
my
the hard
wild
part,
card.
guys.
He's kind of my
Yeah,
wild card because I don't know.
exactly. We don't
He's
really
the
know what
same
he's going to
weight.
bring condition wise because that shape is still gnarly and he's
It's
not like fat.
no,
He's
no,
not
no,
out of shape.
no.
So we just have to
I
wait
think
and
he's
see.
like 80% or 90% there, but and so that's why he could be first or he could be seventh. Like it's one of those. If he was like dialed, he's the winner of the show because he's got the most tools. And he's such a more imposing like structure and frame, being like
Hmm.
6'1", 200 and I think he was like 278 pounds, almost 280.
Yeah.
Like he's a like an Andrew Jacked, where it's like
Yep.
their frame and structure is going to carry them a ways. So it just depends on which Quinton shows up. So I'm very perplexed in my
That's what makes it hard. He's the outlier in general as far as how they look because everybody else we mentioned, while not everybody's been short, but most of them have been pretty short guys, like under 5'9", 5'9" and under. A couple of them been a little taller, but he's going to stand out on that shape and structure for that reason. And if he's close enough, then this competition becomes like the Olympia for Samson in the sense of
yeah.
if he's tight enough, he's going to beat everybody,
It doesn't have to be
But
that hard. It doesn't have to be as peeled as Jordan or Stu
right.
or Justin. If he's 95% that peeled, he'll walk away with it.
Then he takes the show. Right.
And
So
honestly, if
that's my
you
thought.
came in like that, he's also could be a good Olympian. Like we're not
Oh
talking
yeah.
first call out in Olympia, but like I think he's in that conversation
Top
top
10
10.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna put you on the spot myself. We're just gonna do the top five because I feel like beyond
Cool. Because I
that,
was like, that's a lot going on there.
yeah, 6 through 10, like I feel like we just be shooting in the dark. So all right. Who do you got?
Okay. Um, I am looking at
Oh,
probably
pause real quick. We forgot a really big name, and it's because he didn't post anything all year long. He's a returning champion from last year's Tampa Pro, John De La Rosa.
oh right. Shit.
Yeah, no,
Well,
he's kept us in
listen,
the dark, and we have no idea what he looks like.
I refuse to even consider him because I just don't know. I'm sorry. Because it's the thing, man. Give me something to work with here. Because even with
Yeah,
everything we're looking at, I'm like, I can only go off what they're showing us and what 3 days out looks like in my brain, or 1 week or whatever they are out and their photos. But you ever shown us anything like
I see. I think he's a disruptor. I think he could be like top six,
I
but
was about to say I would put him in six off the merit of who he is
mhm.
if we were going that deep.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm just not going to go there.
not gonna give him the
Uh,
love because he hasn't given us anything to love.
well, I just don't know. It's impossible to put him in there without anything,
Yeah.
right? What are we going to do? Go off his last year's presentation, like how he looked,
Well, and
you
he
know?
beat Jordan last year. So like Jordan,
but a different Jordan than we see
way
now.
different Jordan, and also, but also could be a way different John. That's the thing is like
And
he's
that's
also
my
heavier,
point.
and he's working with Patrick Tour, so he's you know he's known
He's going to
Patrick's
come
known for
in.
putting people in shape. Um,
Yeah.
I wonder if he's doing the Dorian thing where he's just like, I just don't want to be in the social media game. I just want to just train. And he owns a gym. Like, I just want to work and train, keep my head down, and then he's gonna show up and just like knock everybody out.
Well, I'm gonna do my predictions with the caveat that guys understand I just haven't seen him recently, so I can't put him anywhere
Yeah.
in
Okay.
particular.
We'll
Okay,
get your
because
prediction.
yeah. Um, I'm going John first, Jewett, Jordan a close second. I just think when they trade off, John's going to have more completeness. Is going to take him. The conditioning is going to be comparable. They're both going to not have great back doubles, but they're some of the most peeled guys out there who are generally complete. I'm thinking third. Oh man, that's tough. Give me your top two, and I'm going to keep thinking on
They're
third.
the same. They're just in the opposite order. I'm gonna do. I think Jordan's gonna win, and I think he's gonna. People are gonna be Jordan believers after the show, and then
Hmm.
John second. But I don't see it as a dominant win. I think it's gonna be tight. Yeah. So those are my top two.
Shoot, they didn't give me no time.
Just to flip off yours. I didn't give you any love. Yeah.
Um, let's do this. I'm going to put Quinton at fifth, not in third. I'm going to put him in fifth. I'm going to go. I'm drawing blanks on while we looked at. Go back to the list up there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Kind of run me through some of those first. Here we go. That's what I needed. Uh, I'm probably going to put beef stew fourth,
Okay.
and oh, actually just put beef stew at third. So John first, Jordan second, beef stew third.
You want to quit in
I may
fifth?
actually move Quentin up to fourth, and then go back, go to Justin's killing me from the back. I don't know.
You want
I'm
to
really
see?
having a hard time with this one.
It's a tough one. And you're right in that the bottom half of the four through six is like super tough. Cool. Launch your video.
Okay.
Your video's off for some reason.
Oh, I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, I didn't change anything.
Are you doing
Um,
it?
ugh. All right, so I got Quentin at fourth. I'm probably going to go. This is going to be a hot take potentially. I'm going to do. Isn't Savoie the real big guy that's lean?
Justin?
Hmm.
Savoy.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in fifth. I think I think structurally with his conditioning, he's gonna beat a lot of these guys out. His legs are good, his back isn't great, but I think that's most of the people in the show, unfortunately. And the guys who have great backs, their legs are just missing terribly. But with his size and conditioning, and if Quentin squeezes into that top four, um, having somebody structurally that can match him
Okay.
may do something there. Then shortly after that, I know we're not going beyond five, but
You
that's where
got
I
John, Jordan,
Jordan.
Stu.
Quinton,
and then Justin
and
Savoie.
yeah.
Okay. Right. So we do differ a little bit in the bottom half of that top five. So I'm going to go
Okay.
Jordan first. I got John Jewett second. I'm personally going to put Quinton in third. I think Quinton
Okay.
will put in third. I think his structure will carry him that far. And then I have Justin Shier in fourth. And then
I thought you might do that.
I'm gonna go John De La Rosa in fifth. I think he will be in the top five.
De La Rosa. That's
I
a guy
saw,
who.
yeah, he's the one that won last year that we forgot
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
He hasn't posted
Well,
anything.
right.
He
Like,
posted
okay,
an
and
off-season
again,
shot, like that's the last one he posted, and he looked like he put on a ton of tissue. So I'm like,
I'll
yeah,
give you that. I'll give you that. But I just, like I said, I refuse to put up anybody who I haven't seen. Um,
well,
and
I'm giving him
so,
merit because at the Olympia last year it was John Jewett, and then the
mhm,
next placing 12th was John De La Rosa. They
yeah,
were like back to back. And I personally, this is maybe controversial, but I would have put John ahead of Rafa and
yep,
and John De La Rosa ahead of Rafa. I would have had Rafa in 12th. That's
yep.
what I would have think because I just thought they were better. But you
I
know,
agree with that.
so that's my top five. I will
Yep.
say though that the people that will I think surprise people would be Justin Savoie. I see him in that next camp. I also see Stu in that next camp. I see Stu in that. The probably honestly, it's probably going to be. I think Stu will be probably sixth place if we had to go that far. And then Justin Savoie. Who else are we missing there? Another person we didn't talk about that has again not posted anything is Amir Omaragic, and
Right.
he's. I don't think I've ever seen the kid like out of shape. Like he's always just as peeled as they get. And I think he's big, structurally limited, but I see him kind of in that second camp too. But yeah,
Right.
so I think Jordan's going to walk with it. I think John is going to be second. Quinton's I have Quinton in third, and then I've got what did I say was fourth? Oh, Justin Shier, and then John De La
You
Rosa.
you really like Justin Shier. I knew you were going
I
to put him
do,
somewhere in there.
I do like
Uh,
him. I'm a little
I
partial.
I
Um,
really don't like his hamstrings and back.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, and it
but
just shows
he
you kind of like where your eyes are drawn. And it's funny because it tends to be where our own physiques are weak, is like we see that in other competitors. We're like, I can't stand that. I can't stand it because like I don't like that. Like, and I'm not saying you have weak back or hamstrings, but like I know that's literally been like your focus all off season.
yeah,
Me, it's like okay,
posterior chain.
if they're missing like the chest and the shoulders and like that bothers me. So it's
Right.
one of the things like, oh yes, guess what? That's what I've been working on, but not necessarily shoulders, more chest. But yeah, like I see
Right.
it, like I can't get behind it. There's no chest there. It's yeah. All right, you
Yeah.
guys. That is our Tampa Pro predictions. Please comment below. We want to hear, how crazy we are. Are we out of left field? Is Patrick Moore going to win it all? I don't know, but definitely comment below. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all the things for YouTube, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Peace.
Peace.